Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here, and Yamaha have just announced the updates to the 2021 Yamaha MT-07. If you're expecting a massive update, you might be disappointed, as we aren't seeing the adoption of an electronics package. In fact, there isn't even a TFT display. But Yamaha have sold 125,000 of these motorcycles since its introduction, so I'm not going to second guess their approach. They reckon they've even sold double the units of the nearest competitor since 2014 every year in Europe, and even here in Australia, where I am at least, they would have to be one of the most common motorcycles you'll see on the road. So Yamaha have kept it simple and updated the engine to meet Euro 5 requirements, which are obviously a must in Europe, alongside a styling update and a host of smaller tweaks, with the bike arriving in Europe in January 2021. They've gone for suave styling, and there's a very strong resemblance to the updated MT-09 as well, with the biggest point to me personally being the addition of a new LED projector headlight. The old headlight might have looked okay, but it was seriously outdated compared to the more modern LED units you see across most machines these days. Plus, you're getting some cool, more minimalistic LED indicators as well to match. Now, Yamaha have copped a bit of flack about the MT-09 headlight, and the MT-07 unit looks very similar. Not exactly the same, but there's a very strong resemblance. I will say, however, that on the MT-07 I think it works better. Its positioning is lower in comparison to the fork tops, meaning less empty space under the headlight, and from the pictures anyway, that seems to be a bit more balanced for the overall look of the bike. In fact, in my MT-09 video, I said I thought they needed to drop that headlight a little bit lower. With Euro 5 we are seeing a small drop in power, losing 1 kilowatt down to 54 in total, not too shabby, with torque also down 1 Newton meter. We are talking the full power 690cc version here, so we'll have to wait and see what the restricted Australian model with reduced capacity ends up being, as the A2 restricted 35 kilowatt version probably won't be impacted. I'd imagine we might eventually get all the styling updates, but perhaps with the old engine for simplicity's sake here in Australia, as we don't have Euro 5 restrictions. Yamaha also reckon the updated engine is smoother with a more linear engine response without losing the bike's renowned character, and the fuel injector settings, air intake duct and exhaust have all been updated with a new ECU as well. Plus there's new crystal graphite engine covers and a lightweight battery, while the exhaust to my eye is a bit nicer than the new MT-09 exhaust, although very clearly kept close to the outgoing version in many ways. Yamaha also promise increased brake performance with the inclusion of larger 298mm dual front rotors, replacing the older 282mm items, with Michelin Road 5 tyres also to be standard fitment. The reason for this rubber choice? A good balance between traction, sporty handling and wet weather performance apparently, and decent standard tyres are especially important for new riders who can be left with a bargain basement option that is wanting in some conditions, often the wet, just to save a few pennies on the manufacturer side of things. It's great to see that isn't the case here. Another update is to the handlebars with a wider aluminium tapered bar choice, with the new LCD dash unit mounted above the bars. The lack of a TFT display may be a little disappointing for some, but I've got to be honest, this is a pretty cool dash. And in 15 years of riding, there's been very few occasions where I've felt like I would significantly have benefited from being able to sync my phone to a TFT style dash just for directions, and I'm even less keen on all the other kind of stuff that those dashes offer. I also really like the styling. It's simple, it's clean, cleaner even than the MT-09 in that tail area, and that new tank assembly looks awesome to my eyes. I wondered whether Yamaha would wait to update the MT-07 to see how the MT-09 went with the new look, but they've also got Euro 5 deadlines, and honestly, looking at the new MT-07, I'm impressed. I do think the MT-09 is closer in the headlight department to the MT-03, where the MT-07 assembly would be my favourite of the three. Of course, seeing the bike in person is always the real test, sometimes pictures just can't do them justice. On a more general note, we're getting the same diamond frame and swing arm, 41mm forks, monoshock with preload and rebound adjustment, and front brake setup apart from those larger rotors, not to mention the same 245mm rear brake, 805mm seat height, 14 litre fuel tank, and same 17-inch wheels, and they will be running a 120/70 front and a 180/55 rear, plus a slight bump in the overall weight of the bike up to 184 kilos. I'd say part of that is probably the Euro 5 exhaust, no doubt. if they are fitting a lightweight battery as well to try and keep that weight down. With competition like the Trident appearing, I think the big question will be price and whether we see a price war erupt in the next year or two. That's never a bad thing for us riders either, because obviously the more competition there is, the better it is for the showroom floor price. Anyway, let me know what you think of the new MT-07 down in the comments. Are they moving in the right direction, or do you think they need to make bigger steps with more additions? If you'd like to support the channel, sub and hit that notification bell, and as always, stay safe out there and thanks for watching.